What's the most potent force in the universe? Now, if your mind immediately leaped to the strong nuclear force, you're spot on from a scientific standpoint. It's the powerhouse within the atomic nucleus, after all. But if you're an intrepid explorer of consciousness, you'll likely have a totally different answer to this question. Unconditional love. These days, many people equate love with the pitter-patter sounds their heart makes when they see an attractive member of the opposite sex, or overly sentimental phrases artfully scrawled in ornate handwriting on Valentine's Day cards. But the kind of love we're talking about goes light years beyond that. This isn't love in the romantic sense. It's something far more expansive and profound. Unconditional love is the most powerful force in the entire universe. It's the cosmic adhesive that binds the fabric of existence together, the unseen yet omnipresent bond connecting all forms of life across time and space. Everything you see around you, from your Uncle Frank to the lamppost in your front yard, is an expression of this primal force. In this video, we'll explore how embodying this powerful energy can be a catalyst for spiritual transformation. Let's get started. How conditional love limits us. When most people talk about love, it's usually the conditional kind. Conditional love sets up a transactional dynamic in relationships. It isn't about embracing someone for who they truly are, but fulfilling certain conditions that make them worthy of love, such as looks, achievements, behaviors, or even social status. It's a bargaining of affection that says, "I will love you if," or "I love you because." Conditional love creates a never-ending cycle of insecurity and dependence. Think about the people in your life who fall into its seductive trap. There's the high achiever who believes that love is tied to success and appearance, or the individual who needs to constantly prove their worth to others to be considered lovable. People like this are utterly obsessed with meeting others' expectations. They're constantly morphing into versions of themselves they believe are more worthy. Conditional love stifles authentic self-expression and hinders our journey towards understanding our true selves. The spiritual journey is one of connecting with the essence of our being, an essence that's unconditionally loving and accepting. When our concept of love is chained to conditions, it blinds us to the possibilities of experiencing a love that transcends all limitations and boundaries. It narrows our vision, preventing us from experiencing the all-encompassing oneness at the heart of our spiritual journey. Love as a state of being. As you can see, unconditional love isn't a mere transient emotion, nor is it sporadic surges of feelings that come and go with life's ebbs and flows. Instead, it's a constant, ever-present state of being, an enduring presence underpinning our very existence. Unconditional love reshapes our understanding of relationships. Imagine a love that isn't based on what you get in return. You begin to love people not for what they do for you or how they make you feel, but simply because they exist. Unconditional love teaches us to see beyond the surface. Where you once saw strangers, you now see reflections of yourself. Unconditional love creates ripples, like a pebble thrown into a still pond. When you start living life from this perspective, it's not just you who feels the change, it's everyone around you. Think of it as a subtle yet powerful force, like gravity, gently pulling those around you into a more loving, compassionate state. The atmosphere starts to shift, almost imperceptibly at first, and then more noticeably. This is the magic of unconditional love. It doesn't just transform you, it changes the world around you. So, when we say unconditional love is the most potent force in the universe, it's not poetic or philosophical mumbo-jumbo. It's a tangible shift in how we see ourselves, others, and the world. It's about embodying love in its highest form and allowing it to guide our thoughts, actions, and interactions. The key to recognizing and tapping into this omnipresent force is awareness. When we cultivate a mindful approach to life, we open ourselves to the subtleties and depths of love in its purest form. We begin to perceive love not as an emotion that we do or feel, but as a state that we are. Philosopher Pierre Teilhard de Chardin said, The day will come when, after harnessing space, the winds, the tides, and gravitation, we shall harness for God the energies of love. And on that day, for the second time in history of the world, we will have discovered fire. The connection between unconditional love and spiritual mastery. Unconditional love is the fuel driving every spiritual journey. If we weren't capable of embodying this kind of love, we wouldn't have a desire to evolve spiritually. Unconditional love moves us to transcend our ego, to forgive, to understand, and to connect deeply with the world around us. In Buddhism, there's metta, or loving kindness, a profound love for all beings. In Christianity, there's agape, a love given freely without expecting anything in return. In Hinduism, there's bhakti yoga, devotion and surrender to the divine, a love transcending personal desires and attachments. In Sufism, the mystical branch of Islam, the concept of ishq, or divine love, is seen as the path to union with God. But what does this mean for us in practical terms? Well, it's about moving past our egos, those parts of us that are all about me, and opening ourselves up to a love that includes everyone and everything. It's a love that doesn't ask, what do I get out of it? But, how may I serve? The journey towards unconditional love is not just a path to personal enlightenment, but a roadmap to creating a more compassionate, understanding, and harmonious world. The Dalai Lama said, "Love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive." Embracing unconditional love is realizing that every act of kindness and every moment of understanding contributes to the collective evolution of humanity. It's an invitation to join a movement of hearts and souls working together to create a more compassionate, united, and spiritually awakened planet. So, when we talk about spiritual mastery, we are really talking about mastering the art of unconditional love. It's about tearing down the walls of judgment, fear, and prejudice we've erected around ourselves, and opening our hearts to embrace love in its purest form. The non-dual nature of unconditional love. Unconditional love is non-dual in nature. It means it doesn't recognize separation between the lover and the beloved, self and other. It's a universal language that doesn't just bridge gaps, but reveals that, at the most fundamental level, there never were any gaps to begin with. It doesn't see a you and a me that are separate entities. Instead, it perceives a we that's part of our greater interconnected whole. Think of it this way. When we're caught up in our daily lives, it's easy to view the world as a puzzle with missing pieces. We see ourselves distinct from our neighbors, strangers, and even the natural world. But unconditional love changes that perspective. It's like putting on a pair of glasses that suddenly makes everything clear. We're not separate pieces after all. We're all part of the same picture. Each one of us is an essential part that completes the whole. Something incredible happens when we start living from a place of unconditional love. We begin to perceive the divine essence in everyone and everything. That person who cut you off in traffic, the colleague who never agrees with you, and the tree in your backyard are not just random elements in your life. They're reflections of the divine, just like you. This shift in perspective, from ego to unity, is more than just a feel-good philosophy. It's a transformative force in our spiritual journey. By transcending our ego, we free ourselves from self-imposed boundaries that tell us we're separate from the rest of the cosmos. We move from a world of division and isolation to unity and connection. Practically speaking, living in unconditional love means every act of compassion, every moment of empathy, and every kind of gesture is a recognition of our shared divine nature. It's understanding that helping others isn't just about doing good, but recognizing and nurturing the divine spark within us all. When we live this way, we start to heal the divisions and wounds of the world. How to cultivate unconditional love. Embodying unconditional love might sound like an unreachable goal, but it's more achievable than you think. All you need to do is to incorporate a few simple yet powerful practices into everyday life that bring you closer to being a living, breathing example of unconditional love. Let's start with meditation. If you think meditation is just sitting silently and trying not to fall asleep, think again. When you meditate, the emotional walls you've built around your heart disappear. Through meditation, we become observers of our inner world, learning to embrace our thoughts and feelings without judgment, paving the way for a more open and loving heart. Then there's compassion, which is unconditional love in action. Seeing someone in distress and thinking, wow, that could be me, helps foster empathy and connection. It doesn't mean you necessarily need to play the hero in somebody else's story, but recognizing their struggles and offer a listening ear or a helping hand. Forgiveness is another powerful tool. Holding on to grudges is like hauling around a backpack filled with bricks. It just weighs you down. Forgiveness is about setting these bricks down. It's not giving a free pass to those who hurt you. It's liberating yourself from the bitterness that can eat away at your heart. Each act of forgiveness is a step towards making your heart a little lighter and a lot more capable of love. As you work on incorporating more unconditional love into your life, allow real-life superheroes of unconditional love to inspire you. Think of someone like Mother Teresa, who dedicated her life to serving people experiencing poverty. Her entire existence was a testament to unconditional love in action. Or, consider the Dalai Lama, a man who faced exile and immense challenges, yet continues to preach love and compassion for all beings. There's also Nelson Mandela. After 27 years in prison, he chose love and reconciliation instead of bitterness. That's spiritual mastery right there. Or, closer to home, think about your neighbor who always has a kind word for everyone. They might not realize it, but they practice spiritual mastery daily. So, start small. A genuine smile, a heartfelt compliment, an act of kindness. These are the seeds of unconditional love. Plant them in your daily interactions and watch as they grow, transforming not just your life, but also the lives around you. Keep practicing, and soon unconditional love will no longer be an unattainable idea, but a natural, effortless way of being. Conclusion. When you start seeing things through unconditional love, everything shifts. How you connect with others, your perception of the world, and even your inner dialogue undergoes a startling transformation. You see the threads of unity and wholeness weaving through every interaction and experience. This is spiritual mastery in action, proof that unconditional love can change how we experience life. If you're curious about diving deeper into this transformative journey, why not check out our channel? Our videos are designed to be not only inspirational, but practical, providing you with tools and insights that you can apply immediately. Whether you're looking for ways to deepen your meditation practice, seeking guidance on living more mindfully, or just curious about different spiritual paths, we've got something for everyone. Remember, spirituality isn't just for the few. It's a journey accessible to all and starts with a single step. Let us guide you as you explore new dimensions of love, connection, and spiritual fulfillment.